vibe, it be different. And shine in your eyes what I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You finding the sky, we gon' ride the eclipse like a Mercury transit.
Peace, y'all. Today with Star Card Astrology, and I'm here to give you daily astrology guidance for Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. And I just want to ask everybody to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's grow this channel, get all this information out there. Anybody who's new to astrology, who's new to spirituality, who needs a little bit of guidance to get pushed on into their spiritual awakening and journey, and just, you know, figure these things out, man, because there's a reason why things are moving the way they are. And astrology helps us prepare. It helps us predict, which we can't predict exactly how everything's going to look and how it's going to unfold, but we know how the energy is going to feel and how it's going to present itself. So if you know anybody who's really awake but not woke, if you feel me, send them this link to my channel, Star Card Astrology. We're going to keep this rocking until the heart's stopping. You feel me? But as you all know, let's pop this off. All right, y'all. So I have this chart ran for the lunar eclipse, which is happening exactly at October 25th, 2022 on the at 6:46 a.m. Doesn't seem like I'm getting the response that I'm looking for here. Which one is this one? Oh, it wants to show that up, but it doesn't want to show when I move the thing around. It's been acting a little fugazi lately. Let's see. Let's see. Oop. I messed that up. Now I gotta broadcast it again. I think because I have to have it on the Wi-Fi. That's why. I turned the Wi-Fi off. Boom. And we're just going to keep it on the pen. And here we are. Okay? So, we are running this for, let's see if I can show y'all. This is October 25th, 2022. The eclipse is exactly at 6:46 a.m. That's when it happens, right here. And I ran it back to the exact minute where the partial eclipse occurs. That's why I have 6:46 a.m. So in roughly 3 hours, 45 minutes from now, there will be an eclipse in the sky, but it will be a lunar eclipse. And this is in Scorpio, at 1 degree Scorpio. The beginning of Scorpio. Okay? Now, first we have to understand Scorpio, right? Scorpio is our passions, but it's also our deep-rooted emotions, our deep-rooted patterns. This is our sexual energy, right? Because that comes from a very deep emotional bond, traditionally, right? But at the end of the day, it is a very intimate, this is where intimacy is, right? Intimacy with ourselves, intimacy with other people. So with the moon and the sun, they are conjunct. And that's essentially what an eclipse is. Well, a lunar one, right? A solar one is they're exactly opposed. But yeah, so emotions are heightened or deepened, if you want to look at it that way, right? And this aligns with the passions of our soul. But the thing is that Venus is right here. Let me actually fix this a little bit so y'all can see it right. So Sun and Moon, Venus conjunct this space as well. So just that alone has so much to do with what we're truly passionate about. And this has a lot to do with our love relationships and with, we have to kind of backtrack because it's like, oh, well, the sun and moon and Mercury and Venus were all just transiting through relationships, right? And we had all of this energy that was getting us to figure out what is good with that and what's not good with that, right? So we had Mercury retrograde here and it came station. Now it's moving forward. So it's like the light is turned on. Where are we going to speak up about our relationships, right? So now that most of that energy has ingressed into Scorpio, this is where, if we're passionate about the decisions that we made, or we're passionate about people, our relationships, right? And Venus has so much to do with value, right? In general, that's why we associate it with money, because money is valuable. But this is also what we create that is valuable. So are we creating a relationship that's passionate and that aligns with our soul? Okay, so very intense energy, to where when it comes to relationships in general, if they haven't been solid, if you've been seeing and going through these toxic interactions, then, this is kind of where all of that gets solidified, right? Because it's like, well, I was already feeling some type of way. You already displayed to me that you don't honor our relationship, or whatever it may be, whatever that relationship is, right? Because to some level, whether you're actually in love, there is a love that is there in every relationship, right? And even in business, right? It's like there is some type of connection with the business that you're doing business with. And because the business is good, you love it, right? You love the relationship. It's a good relationship. Now, for some people, they might not associate that with love, but at the end of the day, you love your company, your business, your income, whatever it may be, and that association with that other business is now a connection that has some type of love in there. And then to take it to a personal note, whether it's a significant other, a family member, a baby daddy, a baby mama, a best friend, there's still some type of love that is involved or was involved, because even to have some type of respect, even to allow somebody to enter your space, there has to be some type of love involved, right? And then we can get into whether, if you love yourself enough, then, you might not want to let certain people into your space. And that's where this kind of all comes together, because it's like these transits that have moved through Libra has shown us whether these relationships are actually on our frequency or not. Whether they've changed and turned in a different direction, or whether they're just completely disassociating or moving on, right? Or just becoming toxic in general. And those ones that are toxic, it will not be avoidable. And that's just my intuition speaking, right? I could be wrong. Other astrologers could interpret this differently, and other astrologers could try to fluff you with, oh, whatever. This is where you could find, your passionate lover, whatever. Yeah, that could happen as well. But it's better to understand that most people are going through difficult situations right now based off of the transits that we've already been going through and the transits that are building up. Mars is super close to going retrograde. 5 days away. 5 days away. This is a freaking huge deal. Because if you think Mercury retrograde, even in Venus, even in Virgo, right, is crazy. Mars in Gemini, which the dispositor is Mercury, right? Because Mercury rules Gemini. Then you're not going to be prepared for when this thing stops in our sky. Mars is a very powerful planet, so much so that it used to rule Aries and Scorpio before Pluto was discovered. Now, and Scorpio is this very intense, deep, intimate energy. And Aries is a very intense, initiative, identification, warlike energy, right? If I was to compare and contrast the two, Aries is like when the war starts, pops off. Ah! And Scorpio's when we're in the middle of it and we're like, all right, initiate, plan, freaking atom bomb. We're ending this. We're setting it to a whole nother level now. We've been fighting for years now. It's time to really pop it off. It's time to send the friggin' submarine and shoot the nukes through the water. Because, right, Scorpio's a water sign. So, right? And then if we look at the chart, what is... Now, Mars, we could give it... it's the same size. It's a similar size as Earth, right? But even if we add 3 to 25, we're still at 28 degrees. And I can't say that's a trine, because that's what they're trying to show on the chart, is that it's a trine. It doesn't look like it changed on my screen, but I'm gonna look at preview mode. Yeah, it still hasn't changed. I don't really know why it's doing that. Back to live mode. Not sure why it's getting stuck today, but it's getting stuck today, y'all. Okay, it's getting stuck today. So I'm just trying to fix it, but hey, it is what it is. So it is making this trine to Mercury, which is in Libra, and then Mars is quincunx Pluto, and Pluto is squaring Mercury. Okay. So if this was, now let me see. Maybe I can. No. All right. So if this was the day to really make some type of change, right? Because we're looking at we're also looking at Saturn that is trine Mercury. This is what I'm going to say, right? Because this isn't easy transits. So to be like, oh, hey, like I said, you could find your most intimate, passionate love. And for some people that might be happening, right? Depending on where this eclipse is going on in their chart. Could be happening. But for most of us, we're having to deal with relationship patterns, issues that we actually have to set a new tone. We have to set boundaries for, right? And I say that because Saturn is trine Mercury. Mercury is square Mars, which means we need to take action and say something, right? Things that we've been thinking, things that we've been seeing, getting data on, which has to do with relationships because Mercury is in Libra. So we've been collecting data about our relationships, and Mars is here at the end of this shadow. Well, I mean, it's not. I guess you could say the end of its shadow period for now until it goes back into shadow period again after the retrograde. But it's at the end of the shadow period, pretty much stationing, saying, hey, if you don't take action right now, while I'm quincunx Pluto, to change the structure, Pluto in Capricorn, to change the structure, right? While Saturn is trine Mercury, to set a boundary with other people and other relationships that are either not honoring you, that are not aligned with you, then when I go retrograde, you're going to have to deal with the repercussions, right? It's like not being prepared for an invasion. It's like seeing the writing on the wall, right? And just being like, I'll deal with it later. Like, I'll clean it later. And then there's more writing on the wall every time you go back. And it's like, fuck. I'm going to have to clean more. I'm going to have to do more preparation to clean. Very big day. Very big day. It is time. It's time. The relationships that have been moving in separate directions, not on the same frequency, falling apart, becoming toxic, not changing, right? Not changing for the better. We have to do something about it today. Or in the next 5 days, when Mercury stations and then starts to move backwards through our sky, slow as hell, it will be hell. Right? Neptune, 0 degrees. We're not counting that one. Let me see if it went back. Oh, it's still stuck. because I'm using this new app. Well, may not be new, but it's a new app that I found where you can screen record and broadcast your screen recording to your stream. And it worked fine the last time I did it. But apparently today it wants to get all hiccupy and whatever and get stuck, which is fine. It's cool because as long as I have the chart in front of me, I don't even really, need the chart too much. But that's where we're at. Mercury's moving fast. Venus is moving fast, so it's going to break off pretty quickly. We're going to see Mercury then come into Scorpio. And we're going to see Venus make its transit through Scorpio. And then, oppose Uranus pretty quick here. And I would say around that time, maybe, some unexpected love scenario could just pop out of nowhere. But we'd have to be very careful because it's right there with the South Node. So I still kind of wouldn't really even give you guys that, like, oh, nah. If somebody just pops up and wants to let you hit it, probably shouldn't. In the next few days. That's just what I'm getting. That's based off of the astrology that's right here. Just wouldn't really do it. Now, if it's somebody that you've been courting and talking to for a while and all this and that, then okay. Yeah, that's cool. And it goes to a deeper level. Great. But somebody new comes out of nowhere. Let that play out, G. Let that play out first, because it's just it doesn't seem like it would be that great. But then again, you have to kind of look at where these placements are in your chart, because the South Node and Venus could be in a good space, but South Node is where we've already experienced and lived out this is a lesson that we would have to learn. It's not something that we're destined to move forward into like the North Node. So you have to pose a question of, is this valuable to me? To some people, that type of stuff is the most valuable thing to them. And hey, to each their own. But what are you creating? Are you creating more babies? Are you creating more internal drama? Are you suppressing more internal drama? Are you transferring your energy to somebody else, and your energy's just never even been dealt with internally? So then in turn you're just creating more basically traumatic energy within another person. But I guess if you're gonna just hit it and quit it and move on, it's just, you got to think about it, because you're still putting that energy out there, and it just gets reciprocated. It just comes back. So we have to be mindful of the energy that we're putting into other people, physically, mentally, unintentionally, because it could happen unintentionally. So let's see what the card for this eclipse day, lunar eclipse day is. Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands. Upright. So again, this comes down to, what are we creating? Are we creating a situation or scenario where things can get out of hand and things can fall apart, and the people that we're relying on are starting, or I don't want to say starting, but the people that we rely on, are they truly in our corner? Because this is where it's like, if you neglect an issue, you're also creating a new one, right? To where now, later on down the road, because you didn't handle it then, something worse happens or something different happens. You have to realize and take responsibility for the fact that if we neglect certain things in life, we're actually creating a new situation that can remain negative and not positive, or go even further into detrimental situations. So this is about, what are we creating, right? The wand is creativity. What are we creating? That's the big question here. Are we creating the love and the bliss that we want with the right people? Because right now, you absolutely know. The hard part is accepting it and doing something about it to change it. That's the hard part. But the universe has our back with this astrology to do these things. And as long as we do them, carry it out, stay solid, stand firm in our decisions, then things will start to fall into place more. But you can't be shook that things are just going to go all bad because you decided to make a major change in your life. Major changes in life are what trigger your life to start going in the direction that it's meant to go for your soul, not somebody else's. They got to figure that out. No matter how connected you are, no matter whether you're married or not, no matter whether you have kids with them, no matter, whether you grew up with them your entire life. It's still your individual life that you have to take control of. And that's what this astrology is actually allowing us to do today, and actually asking us to do today. So don't hold back. Don't move through fear. South Node Scorpio, that's right now. Move through love. Know that if you're not receiving the love that you're supposed to from whatever relationship, at least love yourself enough to open the door to the real, true love that the universe will provide for us to come in. So I hope that helped. And until next time, one love. Oh, it doesn't want to go?
Cause your vibe may be different and shine in your eyes when I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You find in the sky, we gon'